What is a superset training system? Hi, I'm Hayley from Parallel Coaching, and in this short video I'm going to explain about two different types of superset training systems and how these will relate to your anatomy and physiology knowledge much more than you probably think. So first of all, the two that I'm going to explain today are agonist-antagonist supersets and compound supersets. Now these are different types of supersets, but the wording superset in this case relates to two exercises being squashed together with no rest in between. So that's the similarity between them. So you're going to do one exercise and then go straight into the next exercise with no rest in between. Now, both of these training systems are what we class as intermediate training systems. So before you go and give these to all of your clients, you want to make sure that your clients have a really good foundational knowledge and experience of training, which would involve them at least having done single sets, multiple sets, basic sets, maybe even circuits, before they come into doing supersets. And that's because they are more demanding on the body, they create more stress on the body, and that's largely because you've got the two exercises squashed together with no rest between. It means that there is more demand on the body without that recovery in between. So it's much more demand on the neurological system. So let's have a look at these two different types of superset. The first one we're going to explore is an agonist-antagonist superset, which uses reciprocal inhibition to really get the most out of the muscle contraction. So what is reciprocal inhibition? Let's start there. This is whereby your muscles work in pairs, which all of them in your body do. So your muscles work in pairs. Now, reciprocal inhibition is whereby one muscle is contracting and the other muscle must lengthen and relax. So if I contract my bicep brachialis, then as a result, my tricep must be relaxed and lengthened. Same if I contract my tricep, my bicep must be relaxed and lengthened. Now that's the rule of reciprocal inhibition. They work together across the joint. One's contracting and shortening, one's relaxing and lengthening. Now the principle of this reciprocal inhibition applies to the agonist-antagonist superset, and that's because we're using muscle pairs and using reciprocal inhibition to get the best out of them. So what we're going to do is we're going to do two exercises back to back with no rest in between. However, these two exercises work on opposing muscles. So like I said, they work in pairs. So let's say we've got the bicep and the tricep. We know they're a pair. My first exercise would be bicep curls. I do my bicep curls and then straight after, with no rest, I go straight into a tricep extension. So I've literally gone biceps are working, triceps are relaxing for the first exercise, no rest, straight into triceps working, biceps relaxing. Now the benefit of this is that your muscle fibers get maximum rest, maximum length whilst they're being whilst the opposite one is being worked. However, neurologically, you're not getting any recovery because you're going straight into the next exercise. So it is more demanding than, say, doing a multiple set or a single set or a basic set. But it is that nice use of the reciprocal inhibition to allow recovery without any rest. So it's a really good use of that. Now, the other benefit of this is that it's great from a time perspective because you've cut that rest out of the middle. And it also allows for a good amount of variety when working with your clients as well. So let's take another couple of examples before we kind of go over a couple of rules and how this works with agonist-antagonist pairings. Another example would be something like a press up into a bent over row. So let's say I'm going for a press up first. This works my pectoralis major and my triceps. So as I'm working that pectoralis major and triceps, I want my opposing muscles will be totally relaxed. So my second exercise must work the opposing muscles, which is going to be a row action whereby I'm working my trapezius and my biceps. So I go, well, these are my main muscles, so my pecs and my triceps. What's the opposite? This would be my trapezius and my biceps. So I'm going to do a row action. Now I literally go, there's my press up. So the opposite must be a row, which is the exact opposite action. Same if I do leg extension into leg curl, it's the exact opposite action. And that's what an agonist-antagonist superset is all about. Notice that we're moving in the same plane. It's not a case of doing two different types of presses because they you could argue opposite muscles. it should be the same action directly opposing back the other way. So really think about it being the same plane of motion as well. Now this brings us on to the next type of superset. So the next type of superset is a compound superset. And this, instead of using opposing muscles, uses the same muscle. So let's say we're using quadriceps as our feature muscle. I would go, right, I'm going to work quadriceps and I'm going to work them twice with 2 exercises. The first one might be a squat. I use my quadriceps in a squat. The second one might be a leg press. So I'm literally going squat, no rest, straight into a leg press. Now that works, both of those exercises work the quadricep muscle, and I fatigue it once and then I go ahead and I fatigue it again. Now what's really interesting is I must still use my repetition maximum on both of those sets. So I'm not doing a lighter weight because I've got to do 2 sets. I'm doing the same amount of weight as I would if I was just doing a single set, but then I do it again in a different exercise. And this works a slightly different muscle fibre, but means that you're getting maximum overload across all of the muscle fibres inside that one muscle. What's really important to say here is that we're using either 2 multi-joint exercises on the same muscle, like I did there, where I had squats and leg press, or I can do 2 isolation exercises, like 2 different types of bicep curl, for example. And that basically means that I'm not confusing it with a different system, which is a pre and post exhaust that uses a mixture of isolation and compound. That's for another day. But let's look at that. So you've got 2 exercises back to back, no rest in between, on the same muscle. What's really important is that I didn't change to other muscles in the body. I didn't do a mixture of quads and hamstrings, because that would be an agonist-antagonist superset. Instead, I just focused on the quadriceps. So that's kind of a whistle-stop tour of understanding the difference between these 2 different types of supersets and how you might use these with an intermediate client. Now, to test your knowledge, just scroll down below this video and you'll see there are 3 mock questions that are dedicated to understanding supersets, so you can test your knowledge there. And you'll also see there is more information on something called our FitPro 31 coaching program, where we explain all the details about training systems and how this fits into a bigger picture with your client. So go ahead and click the link that is with this video if you want more information. Thank you so much for joining us on today's video. I look forward to seeing your comments below, whereby you answer the mock questions and write down your big takeaway from today's session. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.